Welcome into the Dylan Talks Wrestling YouTube channel, and welcome in to Yappin Wrestling, where you guessed it, I yap about wrestling. Everything from breaking news, instant reactions, predictions. If you love wrestling, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's get into today's video. Okay, welcome into the channel and welcome in for my Clash at the Castle 2024 official predictions. We got a pretty solid card lined up for this Saturday. I'm excited to see some of the match quality. I thought since WWE is kind of shifted to that NXT takeover pay-per-view style for, not the huge events, but Backlash was what, 5-6 matches. And the King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, that was about 5 matches. I thought the match quality has been very, very good on these shows. It's given a lot more time for these matches to breathe, and I appreciate that. So we got a 5-match card for Clash at the Castle. I'm going to go over my predictions here. Each individual match will be timestamped below. I'm going to predict the match card in the order that I would run it, the order that I think it'll be ran. Starting off with Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. I've really enjoyed the story here. The ratings have shown that the fans have really enjoyed the story here, as TV viewers for these segments see an increase. So good on these two for telling a compelling story that has drawn us in. But now, who leaves Saturday with the Intercontinental Championship? Because on one hand, you have Chad Gable, who we all know that his time is coming. He is going to win this IC title. It's not a matter of if, it is just a matter of when at this point. The Team Gable with himself and the Creed brothers is on the horizon. There's no doubt about it, in my mind. However, does WWE pull that trigger this weekend on a show where we potentially may have not just one, but 2 major title changes that we will get into? I think Sami Zayn retains. And I know the Chad Gable contract talks, people want the title on Gable. I hear you. But the way that WWE is telling stories nowadays, we're not there yet. This Saturday is about Otis and Chad. And it is about Otis getting the balls to stand up to his bully, Chad Gable, and say, you know what? Screw you. I'm out of here. And leaving. And taking out Gable. There's going to be a spot in this match where the ref takes a bump. Chad says to Otis, get in here, take him out. And Otis is going to turn and take out Gable and cost him the IC title. Then on Raw, I would run a segment where Otis gets beat down by Gable and the Creed brothers. We move forward with that. Chad wins the IC title on either Raw, Money in the Bank, something of the sorts. But that is how I would do this. This Saturday needs to be about Gable and Otis, and Otis's turn on Chad Gable. Now, could you do that and then have the Creeds come out and Chad knew all along Otis would fail and it's big giga galaxy brain from Gable? You could, and I'm not saying that you'd be wrong for doing that. But for me, this Saturday is about Otis getting the pop, the moment that everybody's been waiting for. They've teased it on Raw for weeks now. That is the payoff here. Sami retains, lives to fight another day. Team Gable still happens. And I also think the Creed brothers will be the team to dethrone R-Truth and The Miz as well. I think Team Gable will be a gold-centered team. And I think they'll get it. But for this Saturday, Sami Zayn retains. Moving into the women's tag team match, we got Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus the women's tag team champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Listen, let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it a buck. Jade and Bianca aren't losing these titles anytime soon. I mean, they may have a Roman Reigns-esque reign. I don't think we go that far, but I think you're looking at a WrestleMania match next year. Jade will eventually turn on Bianca, and that'll be the match. And they're not losing the titles until that happens. Plain and simple, right? I do think having a solid team like this is good for the division, right? Because previously, it's a lot of teams that are building themselves up, and there's not a lot of investment. Right now, people are invested in Jade and Bianca. Whether you like the titles or not, you're invested in those two. They have the titles, they flash them around, you get more used to the division. I am interested to see where this Sonya Deville, Natalya, Stark, and Baszler partnership kind of lands. I do think WWE is getting ready to split up Damage Control, which is the right move, but bring in a new heel faction to replace them. I think it's smart. I think that Stark and Baszler versus Bianca and Jade could be an extending feud. We could see that potentially be Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. And I think Dawn and Fire take the pin here. But I do think, they're on this card because UK, Scotland natives. No big issues with it. But to me, Jade and Bianca, they're not getting beat. They're not getting beat anytime soon. Let's talk about the next women's match. Piper Niven versus the champion Bayley. Piper Niven, obviously, again, hometown reaction. But Bayley, over in Europe. Let me hear you say, hey, we want some Bayley. You know how the chant goes. But yeah, she's going to be over. I think this has the potential to be a sneaky, very good, very fun match with some near falls. The interference of Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, just kind of being, not to the Nia Jax level of a movable object monster, but still a tough challenge for Bayley. Kind of a free look to Nia versus Bayley at SummerSlam, I think, here. But ultimately, Bayley's going to win this match. I do think we could have some fun spots in it. I think the crowd will be very invested in this match. I think the crowd reaction may be better than you're expecting. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Bayley to retain here. In a fun, competitive match. Do not be surprised if after Bayley retains, you see the return of Charlotte Flair. She's looming. She's going to be coming back soon. And they need a match for Money in the Bank. Just saying. Don't count out Charlotte Flair returning this Saturday. One of the two main events of this pay-per-view, AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes in an I Quit match for the WWE Championship. The storyline, the storytelling here has been great. Their first match at Backlash, while was a fun match, didn't have much story behind it. It was just AJ's number one contender versus Cody Rhodes, which is cool. There is a sports aspect to professional wrestling, to WWE at a certain extent, so I don't mind feuds that are like that. However, you want something you could sink your teeth into. The AJ Styles fake retire angle, yeah, was it a ripoff of Mark Henry? Sure, but was it executed well? I thought so. The Styles clash on the steps looked brutal. AJ being in on it with the Good Brothers, I liked that. AJ, again, it makes sense. Guy's desperate. Guy went into Nick Aldis's office and said, I need another rematch. I need another shot. And Aldis said, I can't give you that, man. Like, back of the line with you. And he said, back of the line with me? AJ Styles? The phenomenal one? Nah, not to the back of the line with me. Went out there, did his business, and baited Cody Rhodes. He baited him, and he got him. And he got him good. Cody clearly mad. I Quit match. Stipulation. I like it. It all makes sense, and it's going to be an absolute freaking banger of a match. I want to note something. Cody Rhodes has put on social media that his mother is going to be in attendance for this match. And when it was originally an I Quit match, you go, okay, well, Cody's going to win. Guy's the next John Cena. Cody's not tapping out. Cody's not quitting. There is an added wrinkle here of if Cody's mom becomes involved, Could Cody quit for her sake? Could Cody's mom quit for her son's sake, throwing in the white towel? I don't know if that's allowed in the rules, but there's a wrinkle where, hold up, AJ could win this match now. I don't think AJ, by any means, is going to get physical with Cody's mom, but I believe, the Good Brothers on NXT this past week just reunited with Mishan. Could have her get involved. Could have her kind of hold Cody's mom hostage, where like, oh, if you don't say you quit, she's getting powerbombed, or something along those lines. And then Cody says, you know what, I quit. I'll get the title back, and I'll fight you at Money in the Bank, in a cage match, in a Hell in a Cell, in a whatever match, in a, what was it, the bull rope match. You and me. You could do that. I think this is a swerve, but not a swerve. I think they are planting these seeds of doubt in your mind, but ultimately Cody's going to retain. But I think they want you to believe that it's possible he doesn't. Because realistically, on a timeline-wise, Cody Rhodes needs to be WWE champion by SummerSlam. And you could have him win the title back of Money in the Bank at a big pay-per-view in Toronto in 3 weeks. They could do it. However, I think it's more likely that Cody doesn't wrestle on Money in the Bank. Potentially. I know, you pay money, you see Cody Rhodes. Maybe he wrestles somebody else. Similar Logan Paul one-off situation. I don't know who that would be off the top of my head. A Baron Corbin, maybe. I don't know. But I think due to the length of Roman's reign, and Cody being the guy to dethrone Roman, having him lose the title on his third defense about 2.5 months after is a bad look. It's not something I'm a fan of. You were the guy who beat the unbeatable. You were the guy who dethroned Roman Reigns. And you're going to quit? I get it in the context of the singular match. It could make sense. But overall, the way that I'm looking at Cody's reign, I think it needs to be a stronger one and a longer one than him dropping the title Saturday, even if he wins it back in 3 weeks. But it wouldn't be the first time WWE's done something like this. You remember, what was this, 2006? At New Year's Revolution. John Cena, Elimination Chamber, loses the title to Edge in a, Money in the Bank cash-in, a point where nobody really blames Cena for losing. Dude just fought in Elimination Chamber, wins it back 3 weeks later at the Royal Rumble. We could see something similar. And I'm not going to come up here and be all pissed. I love AJ. I think he's a great wrestler. But I believe we are headed towards Styles losing this match, potentially being moved to Raw. And I'm not putting it past Styles to have an NXT run. The Good Brothers just went down there. Mishan's down there. Styles versus Trick Williams. We see Styles win that Battle Royal on Tuesday if he doesn't get the job done Saturday. Just saying. Something to keep an eye on. In the match that I believe will main event the show, Drew McIntyre in Scotland, in Glasgow, in his hometown, versus the World Heavyweight Champion, Damien Priest. No Judgment Day at ringside. They were barred. I've noticed in the build-up to this, Damien Priest has kind of gotten some heat for his work on the microphone. I personally think it's fine. I think he sounds normal, which I guess, like, in terms of a character work, it's not amazing. It doesn't have me hooked, but he sounds like a guy, like a real person, which I like. Previously in years in WWE, there'd be guys that sounded like, oh yeah, that's clearly scripted. Damien Priest sounds like a guy who really is World Heavyweight Champion and is really just kind of out there with a microphone. And that's about, it's cool. It's raw. I respect it. So I just wanted to get that out there before we talk about the match. For me, this, if it was up to me, this would be Drew McIntyre's time. 1000%, this would be his time if I was the booker. I think he's been one of the 3 best things on television in the 2024 calendar year. I thought everything he did leading up to WrestleMania was excellent. I thought his work with CM Punk has been excellent. And I think in the ring, he's solid. And I think he deserves to be World Heavyweight Champion. If it was up to me, Drew McIntyre would be champion. Now let's talk about the logical sense for WWE. Logic in WWE dictates CM Punk. We haven't heard from him in a couple weeks. Judgment Day, barred from ringside. You think it's this fair one-on-one match. WWE logic would suggest CM Punk returns at Clash at the Castle to screw over Drew McIntyre. I may be predicting with my heart here, over my head. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre wins and that doesn't happen. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre recently had contract negotiations. He resigned. Multiple reports have come out that Drew was very upset at the ending of the last Clash at the Castle, where Solo cost him the title and he ended the show singing with Tyson Fury after a loss. He was very upset about the way that that played out. Drew getting screwed over a second time? That seems like a tough sell to a man who just re-signed and could have signed easily with another company. So, I'm hoping that we didn't go that way. I'm hoping Drew gets his moment and Claymore, Priest, after an excellent match, 1, 2, 3, Drew, World Heavyweight Champion, gets the title back after, losing it at WrestleMania by not having his eye on the prize, has his eye on the prize this time. This is his night. This is his WrestleMania moment, but in front of his home fans at Clash at the Castle. The place fucking erupts, goes crazy, the fireworks, the whole shebang. See you later, show. And on Monday, Drew comes out, and that's when CM Punk interrupts him. CM Punk declares he is qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match. You have CM Punk potentially go on to win that, and that's where he torments McIntyre. McIntyre lost his title because of CM Punk and because of the Money in the Bank. Now Punk has the briefcase. Talk about paranoia for Drew McIntyre. I think that'd be a fun storyline. That's what I would go with. But again, it logically makes sense for Punk to cost Drew and them to have kind of just a blood feud going into SummerSlam. And you could do Priest World Heavyweight Champion, Balor Money in the Bank. Balor takes the title from Priest at SummerSlam. There's multiple logical avenues here, which I love, because it makes it unpredictable and it makes it must watch. But if it was me, I'm putting that belt on Drew. And I'm not thinking twice about it. He's been excellent. But let me know your guys' predictions in the comment section. Who do you think leaves Clash at the Castle World Heavyweight Champion? Do we get a CM Punk sighting? Do we get a Charlotte Flair sighting? Leave a like on this video. It's good for the algorithm. If you love wrestling, you love the WWE, hit that subscribe button. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.